Staying healthy in the US was like a full-time job to us, and we loved it, but it took a lot of effort.
Since moving to Spain, it's actually felt a lot easier for a lot of good reasons. And today we're just going to share some of our wellness tips that will hopefully make you feel better too, no matter where you live.
Hi, I'm Cliff.
And I'm Cheryl.
Welcome to Closer to Happy. We relocated to Spain from the US in order to find a more balanced life. And what we've found since we've been here is that staying healthy has been easier than it felt like it was in the US.
So like in the US, we were always juggling supplements, we were juggling our workouts, trying to manage our stress, read food labels.
Constantly reading food labels that later on you find out aren't even accurate.
Yeah.
So you're obsessing, you're stressed out about your health almost every day, right?
We wanted to share with you some of our habits, tools, and surprising cultural differences that I think are really contributing to that making it easier.
The number one thing that affects your health, I think, is food. What you eat is what you are. And the food is just better here. There's fewer additives, fewer preservatives, fewer dyes.
The EU just doesn't allow a lot of the chemicals and farming practices that are allowed in the US to happen here. So it's so much easier to find food that doesn't have the hormones, that isn't GMO, that doesn't have the same antibiotics. It's really noticeable and you can really feel it in your body.
And you know, it's so great. You go to these markets and you see this amazingly fresh food that was literally driven there that morning from a local farm. It's farm to market, and it's every single week you have multiple markets here that you can go and find food that was literally grown within a few miles of where you are. And the bread is just unbelievably good. And when you eat it, you don't feel that really heavy feeling that you have when you eat a loaf of bread. I don't know who eats a loaf of bread, but when you eat a lot of bread, in the US, it usually sits kind of heavy for me. But here, you can eat bread here and it feels like your body's enjoying it like it's food. It's just high quality food.
Well, they process their flour differently.
And because it's so plentiful in these markets, you can eat like this every day. And we all know the health benefits of the Mediterranean diet. We're in the Mediterranean. So everything here is the Mediterranean diet.
I think another thing that's really noticeable is the kinds of sugar and the amounts of sugar that they have in their processed food. You know, they're very limited on the percentage of high fructose corn syrup that is allowed into the food supply here, whereas in the US,
really prevalent.
Good luck getting away from it.
Yeah. We just recently found out it's a different kind of sugar than we use in the US.
Right. They use cane sugar or beet sugar as opposed to kind of the corn sugar. And I think one of the biggest differences here is the amount of olive oil that is available, that is affordable,
right,
that is used in everything. They have far less seed oils, but it is liquid gold. And it makes you feel so much better and tastes so good. Not that we didn't use olive oil at home, but the quality here has been really astounding.
Yeah, it's amazing. And affordable, like you said. Like you can get a very big bottle of olive oil for what? Like
$10.
Yeah.
Yeah, really big bottle.
In fact, someone told us the other day there's only two kinds of trees in Spain. Olive trees and not olive trees. So they take this seriously.
So the quality of the food is one thing, but if you eat too much of it, as we have been, that's another thing entirely. So a couple of the things that we've integrated into our diet are having protein-only days. And even if it's just one day a week, just cutting out carbs for one day really makes a big difference in our energy levels and our weight management and just all around.
And intermittent fasting too, you know, like we try not to eat anything until about 10 or 11 in the morning, especially here because you eat so late in the evening. So this is a little bit trickier here than it was in the US, but we try to make our windows of when we eat, you know, smaller, and then your body has more time to recover and, you know, burn it off. Speaking of fasting, we have this little trick that we do with this product called Prolon. And by the way,
They are not sponsoring
I was
us.
just going to say, nobody is sponsoring. No one that we're talking about with these supplements and these foods, nothing is being paid for. This is literally our experience and things that have worked for us that we're trying to share with you to pass it along.
Also, we are not doctors and we are not giving you medical advice.
No, we are not.
Sure.
No, you have to do what's right for you. You know, that's really important. But this is a fasting, mimicking diet that comes with prepackaged foods, and it's very specific and it's really incredible. It puts you into ketosis fairly quickly, and then it keeps you there for like 5 days. And in 5 days, you really are cleansing, and it's the most painless cleansing that we've done. We've done cleanses up to 9 days where you don't have anything but like water, and I'm telling you, that's brutal. This is nothing like that. But every time we've done it, we have had some really good benefits from it. And we just heard that you can also do this with your own food. You can make your own food to mimic what this mimicking diet is doing.
Which is, I definitely want to do that next time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm a little souped up.
Yeah, you eat a lot of soup, and soup can get gaggy after a while. But anyway, the point is, every now and then, giving your body a break from what you're doing, no matter what it is. If you find yourself doing anything too many days in a row, I think it's just a good practice to just take some days away from doing that, just to give yourself a break.
A tool that we used that we found incredibly helpful was a continuous glucose monitor. And we got a prescription for that from a company online and wore them for about 6 months.
It's called Libre 3.
And it's used to manage people who are diabetic and pre-diabetic, which we were.
We still think it was really worth wearing these.
Absolutely, because you really get a sense of how food impacts your body and how exercise impacts your body.
Yeah, it's amazing. We learned so much about that, like the time of day that you eat, the order of that you eat your food. If you take a 15-minute walk after a meal, just a 15-minute walk, your glycemic spike is just smoothed out.
Starting with some vegetables and some protein, and then go ahead, you can eat your carbs if you need to. If you're like me and you want to just eat all the potatoes, you can do it after that. And it makes a huge difference in mitigating the glycemic spike.
So truth be told, we take a lot of supplements. In fact, we brought like a suitcase of supplements with us when we came. So our supplements are a big part of our life. We always start every day with athletic greens, which are incredible. Probiotics, they have all sorts of nutrients and greens. So if you can't get a salad in you, at least do that.
You know, it's not a replacement, it's not a long-term replacement, but it really feels good when, especially when we're traveling,
Yeah.
to have athletic greens.
A new supplement we've just added into our regimen is creatine. Now creatine, there's been a lot of research recently that's come out where creatine supports muscle and brain health and can stave off Alzheimer's and help with memory loss and everything that we're all worried about as we get older. So this has been added into our routine.
Another supplement that we take regularly is taurine, and we heard about this on the Andrew Huberman podcast.
Heart health.
Heart health, brain health, cellular health. It just has a long list of things. I think it's supposed to help memory. I don't know if it's helping me, but anyway, we're taking it as a precaution.
Nicotinamide, which is vitamin B3, is a supplement that my dermatologist suggested I start taking because I've had some skin issues in the past. And research has shown that it is really unbelievably good at staving off non-melanoma skin cancers. You take 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule in the evening, and it's amazing. Supposedly, I don't know, but I don't have anything really wrong with me right now, so yay.
One of the supplements I will never be without is AlgaeCal. I've been taking that for about 10 years, or it's an algae form of calcium. And I was diagnosed with osteoporosis about 10 years ago. I had my gynecologist told me about it, and I started on the regimen, and within a year, my osteoporosis had reversed. And
That's unbelievable.
it's unbelievable. And I continued to take it. I slacked off because I'm kind of dumb, and started seeing my results, my DEXA scan scores get much worse. And as soon as I added the AlgaeCal back in, those scores improved. So highly recommend, especially as you get older,
Yeah.
taking a really good calcium supplement with vitamin D and a vitamin K is a game changer for osteoporosis.
With resistance training.
Right, exactly. When it comes to exercise, our number one most important thing right now in a sort of regimen of exercise, that all of them are important, is strength training, especially to offset the osteoporosis and muscle loss that happens as we age. So we try to do strength training at least 3 times a week for about 45 minutes, and sometimes more successfully than others.
I have a routine that I do when I'm traveling, and because you don't always have access to a gym, but you have your body weight to use. Like I do 40 to 50 push-ups every day. I do 40 to 50 squats every day. I do that no matter what, because I know I'm at least strengthening those supporting muscles, upper body, lower body. So at least I get that done. And then we hike a lot. And when you're carrying things, food, groceries, take the stairs, like just make yourself work a little harder for your food.
And stretching. Stretching is so key as we age. So if you practice yoga, which we've been doing for
46 years for me.
I started when I was 5, so it's been about 40 years for me too. Yoga or any kind of stretching is critically important. You really need to do that, some form of stretching every day.
It also has a whole mental benefit to it.
Yeah, it does. Yoga's the best. We're so lucky because our very favorite yoga teacher for years and years and years just put a program online of all of his classes and his meditations, and it's been huge for us to be able to still have him as an instructor, even though we live in Spain.
Josh Blatter, we'll put a link below. You should definitely check this guy out. He stands above the rest.
And we talked about walking as a tool to manage your glucose levels, but walking as an exercise is probably the best all-around exercise for everyone.
Yeah.
If you can walk, you should be walking.
Yep.
Even if it's 20 minutes a day, take a walk. It's a lot easier for us here in Spain because there's such a strong walking culture. But anywhere you are, take a walk.
Brain and sleep health is super important. Everyone's talking about sleep these days. We all have our Oura rings. I don't have, mine's being charged.
I have mine. I'm not flipping you off.
But we used to wake up in the morning and say, how'd you sleep? Oh, pretty well. Now we get up and say, how'd you sleep? I got a 69. Oh no, really? What happened? How many times was I awake that night? So we're overanalyzing it a little bit, but the fact is sleep is really important, and what you notice when you start tracking your sleep are the things that you do that affect your sleep negatively or positively, and then you start knowing how to do that. So that's a good thing to figure out.
A supplement that we take to help improve our sleep quality is magnesium, and we take magnesium citrate?
Yeah.
Citrate?
I'll show the label. I'll show you the label.
We will. Anyway, we take that, and we've been taking it for quite a while, and it's really impacted the quality of our sleep. And then a study came out very recently that showed for people who were taking it over an 8-week period, a 32% increase in the quality of their sleep.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to just keep taking magnesium. Good stuff.
Another supplement that is not an everyday thing, but it really helps me with my sleep is called GABA. Now, GABA, G-A-B-A, is an amino acid that, for me, makes my brain not go into thought patterns in the middle of the night. Because I'm prone to thinking too much. And when, not intelligently, by the way, just thinking too much. And so if I'm having a brain loop in the middle of the night, or I get up to use the bathroom and all of a sudden I start thinking about something with work or people or friends or family or kids, GABA will make my brain not grab on to those loops, and then I go back to sleep. It's really pretty amazing. So
it settles you down.
Yeah, it does.
Settles you down. It's good for anxiety too.
Right. Good for anxiety. And there's a lot of that these days.
And the last really important tool in our tool belt is meditation. And we both try to practice every day. We have different teachers. We listen to different recordings. We meditate silently. We try to meditate before bed. But it is a game changer for your mental well-being, and the studies are just overwhelmingly positive for meditation.
The types of meditations that work for you, it's very personal. Sometimes you want somebody that's guiding you through a meditation. Some other times you might have a mantra-based meditation that you're just repeating a mantra to yourself, and then you go through your journey that way. Or you might just want silence, or you might just take 3 deep breaths. Honestly, that is a type of meditation too. And in fact, before we actually recorded this, we joined a meditation for 30 minutes that a friend of ours does online that we'll put her contact information below. She's very good and guides you through a meditation, and she speaks and tells you what to think about, and then you try what she says and you follow a breathing pattern or whatever. Anyway, there are many ways to do this, but don't let the term meditation turn you off if you haven't done it before. Meditation only means just slowing down, focusing on your breath and getting out of your mind. And a little bit of that every day just keeps you sane. I try to do it at night before I go to bed, in the morning, and at night. And I've been doing it on and off for like 48 years. And honestly, I think it's the only thing that's kept me sane. So find your meditation type and definitely add it to your repertoire.
Simple tweaks in your life can really add up. So I encourage you to find one thing, one habit, one behavior, and add it into your life and see what the benefits are.
And doing one little thing and knowing that you made a little bit of a difference in your life and you tried something new that's healthy, you feel very fulfilled that you've actually are moving in a direction that's good. You don't have to do everything we talked about. This is what we do. But if there's any piece of it that makes sense to you, please go ahead and adopt it. And if you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe and share with your friends, and come back for more.
Yeah.
Ciao.